Good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Crime Time with Dutyron and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. If you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, you're in the right spot. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you'll get all things Dutyron and my co-host, Ed Wallace, when we go live or upload another video. Hey, tonight, folks, we're going to bring it straight to you. It's breaking news. It happened just the other day. Madeline Soto, new evidence released to the defense in the Stephan Stearns murder charges. Now, that was the last time we went live. His charges were upgraded. There's no word on whether they will seek the capital punishment penalty for this crime. He stands innocent until proven guilty. But there's a slew of evidence. There's a slew of documents. We are going to unpack them here tonight. So buckle up because there's a lot of information. I got Tommy, my auto crime expert, on standby. Ed Wallace is in Morocco. It's 2 a.m. there. So I want to say thank you to our Patreon supporters, the channel members, the subscribers, the replay viewers, the live chatters, like yourself here in the chat, Debbie Carroll, always present for duty, and our moderators. You guys are what makes this a great, classy place. So if you're not yet here and subscribe to this great community, Wendy Kraft, good to see you. Sean B, R Whip, just to name a few. Tiffany is here. Tiffany Knox, thank you for being a channel member, and BB2. Listen, by a show of hands in the chat, how many of you have seen the list of the things that the Orange County Sheriff has done for Madeline Soto in this case, in bringing justice for Madeline Soto, and the Osceola County Sheriff's Department led the charge by Chief Betty Holland? Anybody seen it? Press a 1 in the chat. If you've seen it, press a 2. If you haven't seen this long, extensive list of investigative steps that they've done, it's going to take me a whole hour to go over this. So it looks like there's a good mix of people who have seen it. Some haven't, some have heard about it. And our good friend Vinnie Politan went live on his personal YouTube channel tonight, and I saw it yesterday on Fox 35. So let's give Fox 35 a quick shout out, and here is the story from Fox 35.
18-year-old Maddie Soto. We're getting a better idea of what the trial could look like for the man accused of killing her.
Yeah, a new list of evidence has been made public. And Fox 35's Marie Ettinger has been sifting through this list all day long, and she joins us live right now. So, Marie, what are you finding in there?
John, that new list just released by the state gives us a better view of what might actually come out in this trial. And as this memorial for Madeline Soto grows, so does the anticipation to find out what exactly happened to this little girl. This is a list of the items the state plans to.
So these are the 4 pages, but page 1 and 2 and 3, the 4th page is the affidavit. But these 4 pages lists, this is a list of the investigative steps and the things that the sheriffs in multiple departments, there is multiple departments that are involved in this investigation. I counted, and I lost count after a while, there was over 22 different detectives' names in these documents that I'll be pulling up for you. And we're going to go line by line through these documents. And it goes all the way to a page 1,000. It starts at page 1 right here. And at the bottom of this thing, it's 1,000 lines in the page book of investigative steps. This is the only beginning of what they released to the defense. They asked the defense to provide them, the state asked the defense to provide them with a 1 terabyte hard drive. And ladies and gentlemen, in 1 terabyte hard drive, you can fit 250 to 300,000 photos on a terabyte hard drive. You can also, within that 1 terabyte hard drive, have 250 to 300 full-length featured films. So that's what they asked the defense to provide the state attorney's office, a 1 gigabyte hard drive, so they can upload the pictures, this animal, this savage, Stephan Stearns, he's not an animal. He's a monster. That's to upload the videos and photographs that he took of our very poor young victim, Madeline Soto. This case is one of the most egregious, sickening cases I've ever covered as it pertains to sexual assault against a child. It is horrifying, ladies and gentlemen.
Use in the trial. We're talking, this is a find out what exactly happened to this little girl. This is a list of the items the state plans to use in the trial. We're talking a terabyte hard drive to copy just some of the discovery over. That's enough space to store 500 hours of HD video or over 6 million pages of documents. The list includes references to guns like firearms trace summaries, even though we still don't know whether a gun was used in this case or how ultimately Maddie died. Forensic expert Stacey Shepard says the list tells a story.
You have your crime scene, actual on-scene activity, and then your major.
Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, Ed Wallace is going to join us tomorrow, and we're going to break down these crime scene listings. There's crime scene photos, and we're going to talk about tire impressions, tire tracks, and tire impressions. How and we talked about this in the Brian Kohlberger case, how they can match tread wear impressions that are in the crime scene, that gated farm that was open where he allegedly drove his Lincoln MK. I have the model written down, but I can't find it. I think it was an MKZ, Lincoln MKZ, 2010. Yes, Lincoln MKZ. Thank you, Dutyron. His tracks, his tire tracks are going to be able to be, they remove them from the crime scene, the tire tracks, the impressions, and they are matching them up. Don't forget, he had a spare tire on that car. So it's going to be so easy for them to match definitively. And that puts Stephan Stearns' car at the crime scene. And we are left to wonder right now that they are doing firearms checks. This means there's a strong potentiality, ladies and gentlemen, that unfortunately our victim, Madeline Soto, may have been shot to death. But we don't know 100%. But usually in these cases, when they start doing firearms checks, it's not just because the defendant possessed the firearm. It's because it was used in the commission of a crime.
Case investigation step, you have your crime scene, actual on-scene activity, and then your major case investigation steps, and then you can see it progressing as they're getting warrants and asking for certain things.
The list includes reports by 21 different investigators. It references mobile tracking.
Okay, wait a minute. Did she just say 21? I counted 22. I could be wrong. I think I counted 22 on that sheet, but this reporter said 21. I think I was pretty damn close.
Devices on 3 different cars. There's a section about pen registers. Those are devices that record the numbers of phone different investigators. It references mobile tracking devices on 3 different cars. There's a section about pen registers. Those are devices that record the numbers of phone dials out, and trap and trace devices, which record incoming phone numbers. There are also search warrants and cell phone mapping for 3 different phones. Fox 35 was able to confirm one is Stephan Stearns' phone, and another is the phone for Jen Soto, Maddie's mother.
Typically, when there's that much evidence against somebody in this kind of case, they're going to most likely take a plea.
The state could use this information.
So she's basically alluding to the overwhelming amount of evidence, the pile of evidence that they have implicating Stephan Stearns in the murder and sexual assault of Madeline Soto. There's a potentiality that he pleads guilty, but no good defense attorney will tell a client to plead guilty when they feel that they have nothing else to lose. I'm going to put myself back on, and I'm saying that with extreme conviction because I know from being friends with criminal defense attorneys and also being in the business, in the criminal justice field, most defense attorneys will tell them, you have nothing to lose, let's fight this. Maybe they made a mistake. But the 2010 Lincoln MKZ, the 2012 Honda Civic, and the 2022 Nissan. They did these pen registrations. They track also their phones with the pen registrations. And they put tracking devices on these cars after the fact, once the investigation started. Why? They put tracking devices on those cars because they wanted to see where they were going. And in addition, that pen registration, that tracks their cell phone. And they listened into what Stephan Stearns was saying to Jennifer Soto. So I raised the question to you guys, do we think Jennifer Soto is close to being arrested? That is a possibility here, because with this information that's released to the defense, it tells the defense that, guess what? They weren't just looking at Stephan Stearns. They were looking at the inner circle of this family. They might have even been tracking grandma's phones. Remember, we listened to the interviews from Jennifer Soto and the grandmother, and they didn't seem, how can I put this lightly? They didn't seem genuine in their concern and distress. It made you think things that make you go, So the investigators saw that, and they also did what they had to do. And I got to tip my cap to the men and women who were involved, 20 or 22, 21 or 22 different investigators from multiple different counties. They did a heck of a job, as we see it right now in this case. And let's just take a listen to the rest of this.
To seek the death penalty. One is Stephan Stearns' phone, and another is the phone for Jen Soto, Maddie's mother.
Typically, when there's that much evidence against somebody in this kind of case, they're gonna most likely take a plea.
The state could use this information to seek the death penalty.
We're still in talks about it. Still discussions amongst myself and our homicide team and our executive team to seeing what aggravators, if any, we have that we can go on.
Stearns has pre-trial conferences for both of these trials coming up on July 10th, and then the actual start date for the murder trial for Maddie Soto begins July 16th. He also has a separate trial that'll start up on August 19th. That is for a case involving sexual battery against a minor, as well as various child porn charges. He has 60 counts against him in that one. Live in Osceola County, Marie Edinger, Fox 30.
So that was the Fox 35 report. And I thought it was really interesting because in a case like this, if you ever looked at capital punishment on the books in Florida, in the state of Florida, this is a ground ball. You know, that was the state prosecutor, as we saw, saying that we're talking with our investigative team and our executive staff. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you that I will bet my pension that this case will move forward and capital murder charges will be levied against Stephan Stearns, and rightfully so. If there was ever a monster that was deserving of them going full tilt, they've got the extreme exigent circumstances here. I don't have to read out the circumstances to you guys. We know this case. By a show of hands here, we know the intricate details of this case, and they are very sensitive and they're difficult to talk about. But we know what they involve. And at the end of the day, this to me, it reeks capital punishment, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you think in the live chat.
Now, a search is underway.
Okay, we don't want to hear that. Our good friend Vinnie Politan from Court TV, he went over the some of the new stuff. He didn't go into details, but I want to tell you that they subpoenaed the Instagram account of Maddie Soto. They probably subpoenaed the account of Stephan Stearns, if he has any. They've also probably, in my opinion, subpoenaed all electronic devices for Jennifer Soto as well. And anybody that was in that immediate circle in that family. I have the documents. I'll pull them up in a minute, but I just want to go to the chat and see if there's any questions that you guys have from what we heard here. The vehicles, his cell phone, they listed out 3 vehicles, a 2012 Honda Civic, a 2010 Lincoln MKZ, and a 2022 Nissan. So, there could be so many possibilities here. People look, here's one from Marcia Young. She says, Dutyron, do you maybe believe, in your opinion, that other children could have been victims of Stephan Stearns? I don't put anything past this evil demon. It's if there is anybody else, or if he was sharing this, the images and videos online, the investigators will uncover that. And if anybody else is involved in this, they'll be brought to justice. Trust me on that. I could say that with extreme conviction. Let's take a listen to what Vinnie Politan had to say. I'm not going to listen to it all. I just want you to hear what he has to say, because he had the same sentiment that I had. I was just like, when I started looking at this and reading this 4-page document that we'll go over in a minute, Vinnie said something like, we better buckle up, or let's get ready for this, or something. Let's get ready to rumble. Vinnie Politan went live today, and he does so many different things. As you guys know, he does so much. And this was before his live show. The video is not crystal clear. I don't know why. It's just coming over at 720p. He was kind of out of focus in it. But I want you to listen to what Vinnie, who's a seasoned, by the way, he was a former prosecutor. So Vinnie knows this business, and he's been around for a long time. Let's take a listen to what he had to say, and then we'll go right to the document. Here's Vinnie Politan from today.
All right, fasten your seatbelts, everyone.
All right, that's what he said. Fasten. I thought he said buckle up, but fasten your seatbelts, same thing.
What we're going to do here in this live stream is go through a document I just found in the court file. I was going through it. I've been obviously super busy with a bunch of cases we're covering on court TV, a couple of big trials that are taking place simultaneously. But I came across this, and I think it's something we need to go over.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just reassure you, no plea deal will be offered to this demon. Stephan Stearns is not, I repeat, not getting a plea deal. Ellie says she watched Vinnie from 30 years ago. There will be no plea deal, Stormy. Definitely not. Guys, if you're not yet subscribed, consider hitting that thumbs up and subscribing while we have a chance, while we're listening. This is just a couple of minutes. We're going to listen to him, and then I'm going to show you the documents. We'll go over them line by line. Some of you might be bored by it, but I think it's fascinating to see the work, the good work. And unlike what we see in some of our other cases, like Summer Wells down over in Hawkins County, Ronnie Lawson, the clown show that goes on down there, and even Sebastian Rogers, this case is what a good investigation is. And you look at over in Massachusetts, the Karen Reed, police officer John O'Keefe, the disgrace that those investigators did, the Canton Police Department, and even the Boston Police Department. I'm shocked at the Boston Police Department and Canton, the lieutenant, allowed them to use a snowblower from a sergeant's garage. And members of the service said, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get a snowblower. I'm going to blow some snow away to look for evidence. Unlike that, you have the Osceola County Sheriff's Department and the Orange County Sheriff's Department in Florida making law enforcement proud because they're doing a fantastic job. Canton, Boston PD, poor police officer John O'Keefe's family, poor Karen Reed, poor everybody that's involved in this thing. Those young kids that were dragged into this that had nothing to do with it, but are dragged into it to having to testify and get cross-examined because of shoddy police work. It really breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, folks.
Over. And I think we are very close. I said this once already in one of the streams. We're extremely close to a lot of this information becoming very public. But what I have is a list of items that have been sent to the defense through the discovery process. And forgotten.
A leaf blower, snow blower. Yes, it was a leaf blower. That makes it even worse. Like, I meant to say a leaf blower. You know that, Lynn. But the leaf blower is a disgrace. In all of my 33 years in law enforcement, being around law enforcement, my service spanned over 20 years. But after 33 years of being around law enforcement, I've never heard of a leaf blower, gas powered, used to search for evidence. Despicable. Despicable.
Items that have been sent to the defense through the discovery process. And each one, there's, one line or so on each one giving us a description of what it is. And I think we can read a lot into that to figure out how this case was solved, what evidence they may very well have here against the defendant, the accused, Stearns. So this is big, but I think it's going to get a lot bigger very quickly because all of this just happened last week.
This is huge. And we heard the district attorney on the podium say, once we get asked for discovery from the defense, from Stephan Stearns' attorneys, once they ask the state to hand over discovery, then you could do the FOIA request. Then we, through the Freedom of Information Act, can release all this stuff. So Stephan Stearns' attorney asked for these documents, and Florida gave them to them, and now they're public access, public record. There's certain parts of this that is not going to be viewable, and the only way it's going to be viewable is the pictures and videos depicting the horrific act perpetrated onto Madeline Soto, Jennifer Soto's daughter, can only be viewed by the defense in person, and no jagaloons will be able to get their hands on it. Those pictures and videos depicting those heinous acts perpetrated onto Madeline Soto will not, I repeat, will not be released to anybody. The defense can only go and see it, and they have to go in person to the state attorney's office. So that's to protect our victim here, to protect Madeline Soto. I agree with that wholeheartedly because there's too many sick, creepy weirdos out there.
The transmittal of some of these documents. So this is, I think we'll learn a lot here on this stream, and I think it's a precursor to a lot more information that's going to be public because of the sunshine laws, et cetera, down in Florida.
Florida does it quick.
Let me get everything straight here. I'll get right into it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please like, please share, smash the like button. Let's spread the word.
Everybody go over and subscribe. I will link Vinnie's channel down in the description. I highly recommend you go and check him out. He's a great guy, and he's asked me to be on his show a couple of times. It's just, I'm always so busy with work or even here doing YouTube with you guys. A few times he's asked me, and I told him I can't make it. I didn't speak to him directly. I spoke to his producer. But yeah, I would rather be here with you guys than to go on to Court TV or even News Nation. For me, I don't really get anything out of that. I would rather spend the time with you guys. But kudos to Vinnie and his team.
I'll get to comments. Keep posting. I'll work the comments in here. I always do. Always work in the comments. The defendant, the accused, will demand this discovery in the case, which, as we learned in My Cousin Vinnie, is all the information that prosecutors have, some of the evidence and documents, et cetera, all parts of the investigation that they have possession of, that before they go to trial, they must provide to the defense. Now, different states, different jurisdictions have different rules on when it needs to be provided.
Correct.
Florida is much like the state I practiced in, New Jersey, where this discovery is given very quickly after indictment. It's very.
Yeah, Florida doesn't play around, as Vinnie said. Once they share, once they do the discovery and they share it with the defense, they make it public. And that's only a benefit to us who are following this, and also to the general public, the community at large. They want to know about what the police did to get this demon arrested, to put him under Now the prosecutor has to prove their case. The state has the burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Stephan Stearns did in fact do this. And I have very high confidence that they will be able to get a jury of his peers to listen to the evidence and find him guilty. So let's listen.
Quickly done. So in some states, it happens much closer to the trial date. In the federal system, it's a challenge for defendants to get all the discovery that they get generally in state cases. Okay, so what it does is it lists.
Let me just say this, and I don't do this often, but Jazzy Boop, thank you for your comment. But guess what? The reason I brought it up is because I'm showing the difference between good police work and shitty police work. And what happened over there in Massachusetts in Canton is complete polar opposite of what happened here for our victim, Madeline Soto. So thank you for your comment, but that was the reason I don't just talk out. I don't just talk shit. I'm talking to make it all come together, to make an example of what good police work is and what shitty police work is. And that's why I had to bring that up. But thank you.
And it just gives a title to each one, the information or discovery that's been provided to the defense electronically. So they sent them a bunch of files, digital files. So there are affidavits, there's search documents, there's things like that. Then there's some information, I think, that leads to what some of the evidence could potentially be. The first one that strikes me here that I'm looking at is, where is it? A property form for a tire tread and scene photos. Okay.
So tire treads are Stephan Stearns' tire tracks that I talked to you about. And the crime scene photos, as we know, one of those photos, unfortunately, was leaked by one of the sheriffs. I hope he got reprimanded for it. But the scene photos, the crime scene photos, are what is depicted in this document that I will show you, and we'll go over it. It's the tire treads, the tire impressions that are left at the crime scene, which is documented, photographed, and compared to the Lincoln 2010 Lincoln MKZ that they took into custody, and they match those up. So it's almost like fingerprints, but it's, the tire wear impressions. So Ed Wallace has talked about that in extreme detail in the Brian Kohlberger case. We saw the detectives from the state crime lab outside of the 1122 King Road address taking those tire wear impressions off of pavement. This is going to be off of dirt, which is even better.
Tire tread and scene photos. So the scene photos, my guess likely would be the ones relative to where Maddie was found, right? And a tire tread. Now, is that some sort of like, there's a
thank you, Hugh. I'm watching
molding that's
trial.
done of a tire tread that's left behind, and they're going to try to match it to the tires on the car. This would be fascinating evidence.
That's what they do.
Obviously, it's not DNA, but it's good.
It's very good.
It's good. So will they be able to take whatever sort of tire tread evidence that they obtained at the scene?
The answer is yes.
And match it to the vehicle driven by SS. Will they be able to do that?
Yes.
That's important evidence, because that will put him through forensic evidence, which we know jurors love, right? It's not an eyewitness. It's like forensic evidence. If they can match a tire tread found at the scene to the defendant SS, that'll put him there. That puts him at the place where Maddie is found. Someone's saying, why don't I find you on YouTube? Who's not finding me? Jeanette cannot find me on YouTube. I have to put this. Why don't you now match a tire tread there as well? And you can match that to the car being consistent with the car. It won't be DNA. It won't be 1 in 7 billion or 700 billion. But it will be.
I asked our autocrime expert, Tommy Burke, And for those of you who haven't seen Tommy, he's been on several times on the Savannah Soto case, on Brian Kohlberger. I brought him in for 2 other cases, but he's been on with us about 4 different times. Our NYPD auto crimes expert. He first and foremost said that the tire treads and the tire impressions can match 100% to the vehicle, but you have to put the defendant in the vehicle. And how they can put the defendant in the vehicle is by the video where they show him driving into the apartment complex where Madeline Soto lived with her dead, lifeless body inside his car. And they match up his tire wear impressions at the crime scene where her body was discovered, and then match those tire impressions up to the car, and also match the video, match any Department of Transportation, the DOT cameras, match up any video that they have, plus his cell phone pings and all of his devices that are going. And coincidentally, our good friend Tommy Burke, the auto crimes expert from the NYPD, spent 37 years in the NYPD in the auto crimes division. He said that a 2010 Lincoln MKZ is very excellent. Ford Motor Company is very excellent at tracking their vehicles with their infotainment systems and then their Ford onboard diagnostics. When I sent him this document, and when he read it, he said, this is a win for the authorities who were investigating this, because the 2010 Lincoln MKZ can give us so much data, so much. So it puts his ass on the frying pan, ladies and gentlemen. Essentially, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? That's what's happening with him. So let's put Vinnie back on.
Extremely compelling in the courtroom. Now, if that tire tread doesn't match, now you got a problem. Now you've got a piece of evidence that the defense can use. But we'll see. It doesn't say if it matches or doesn't match. It's just saying it's being provided. So whatever tire tread that was recovered, and I believe it was recovered at the scene because it's listed under the same property form where they have photos of the scene.
And remember, he got a flat tire. That our eyewitness, there was an eyewitness that came forward that had him changing a flat tire. Now, if he changed that flat tire before he went in to the crime scene, you'll have 3 tires plus a spare. And Tommy, our auto crime expert, said if he had that spare on, it makes it even easier to match it up, because you'll have 3 individual tire wear impressions, and then you'll have a 4th that will be from that spare tire. So it depends if he had that flat tire before or after, and that's what we don't know at this time.
So I'm presuming that it could be scene photos, it could be a tire tread photo, it could be a piece of a tire tread. It's not clear, but it's a property form, so it's some form of property that they have. So the photos, obviously, my guess is this is an electronic transmission, so it would be a photo of something. But what is it a photo of? Like, what is being electronically transmitted? That is this tire tread. Is it a piece of the tire tread that they've recovered? Is it the track that is left behind? Is it a picture of a mold? Not clear. But tire tread evidence, we heard about tire tread evidence from the defense during the Murdoch case.
Yeah, Murdoch.
And obviously they didn't do that type of investigation. It wasn't necessary. It didn't lead to anything. But here, because of where it's found, and those of you who have seen the recovery site, there's 2 spots. There's one spot across the street where I believe the car was spotted, but could be another spot closer to where Maddie was found, where there was a gate that was unlocked that day. So was there some sort of...
Yeah. So Simi Sharp, great question. It is close to fingerprints because, as Ed Wallace, our expert, our beloved Ed Wallace has told us, and I've learned this through him many years ago, tire tread, you can match it right back to the lot the serial numbers, and everything from the manufacturer. So there is pinpoint ways for them to identify the impressions from tire wears. We saw it in My Cousin Vinnie, but we saw basically a Hollywood version of it. But there is a science to it where they can match these tires right up to that car, 100%. You can't even refute it. So it's a good identifier. It's a very good piece of evidence.
Thread or something left behind there. I'm not sure. I say one thing that's very evident when you start going through this, you see how many investigators and people they spoke to that exist here. It was a pretty patient. They go to a judge and make application to put a mobile tracking device on 3 cars.
Yeah.
And I guess they did it. So wherever these cars are going, they're able to track their movements.
And they track their movements after the fact. So what was reassuring to me is that they were looking at Jennifer Soto's movements, they were looking at Stephan Stern's, and they were looking at a third vehicle. Was that her mother's, the woman who we heard from on TikTok and on the news? She gave that interview, and they were tracking those vehicles, and they were also tracking their electronic communication back and forth. And that could give us a great indicator as investigators, not the public, but it gives the investigators a great idea of what they're talking about when they think nobody's listening. And they went and did this legally through the court system. They got a subpoena. They got a subpoena from a judge. The judge signed off on it and said, yes, you could listen on their cell phones and you could record it. And I've been involved in many cases where I supplemented, where they track people and listen on their cell phones. When I've been involved in many RICO narcotics cases where we listen to multiple people communicating and recording them. And it's all done through legal channels. So they did that in this case, which we would never know this, obviously. This is all the behind the scenes stuff that Ed Wallace and myself talk about all the time. You hear us retired law enforcement professionals tell you about this stuff. And many of you would, some of you just like, oh yeah, whatever. They don't really do that, but they do it. They do it. So that's what was done here.
Now all this is there's no date on this necessarily, but if they're tracking the cars after the fact, I guess tracking movements to see where people go, how much interaction do they have?
Correct, Phoebe.
Sometimes people return to the scene, like Scott Peterson. But right away, you can see that obviously everyone is under suspicion.
Oh, yeah.
And they have enough evidence to get the application for this tracking or these tracking devices on 3 different cars: a 2012 Honda Civic, 2010 Lincoln, 2022 Nissan. So they're tracking the cars. They're tracking the cars. And I'm trying to see which who is making that. It's not clear. Like, I don't have the actual application, right? The actual application is going to have a lot more information. It's going to have likely an affidavit, and this one I believe does have an affidavit. Now there's a series of affidavits that are also listed here that again have been provided to the defense, which I would suspect would become
public eventually,
provided to the public at some point in the state of Florida. So
soon.
I'm thinking any day at this point. Let's see.
And when those affidavits are public and more information comes out, we will cover that. We'll cover that live. Ed Wallace and myself, we will cover that. We'll make it happen. He's in Morocco, which is 5-6 hours ahead of us. So it makes it a little difficult. So it's a 2012. I have the cars here. Little bit 666. 2012 Honda Civic, 2010 Lincoln MKZ, which is, we know, Stephan Stern's vehicle, and a 2022 Nissan. These one of these, either the Honda Civic or the Nissan, is Jennifer Soto's vehicle.
Reports, electronic incident report, So electronic incident reports. Okay. So they're taking a look at electronics. Reports have been done as a result of whatever analysis they're doing on the electronics. You expect that. We kind of suspected that would happen. Firearms trace summary.
Let's talk about this. Firearms trace summary. So there's two instances or more where we would use a firearms trace summary. One is if a crime was committed, we got a search warrant, we recovered weapons from within a home, and we, while in the commission of executing a search warrant, looking for, say, drugs or anything else, or just an open search warrant to give you blanket search of the whole home to get electronics and whatever. And now you come across a cache of weapons, you would do a firearms history search. You'd want to see, is that firearm legally obtained by the occupant? Is it a firearm that was used in a commission of a crime? Is it a firearm with a sometimes people try to deface the serial numbers and so forth. That makes it a federal crime. So it could be for that reason, or it could be a firearm that was taken from the scene, or taken from evidence taken from the scene, like ballistics at the murder scene where Madeline Soto was recovered, and they would match ballistics up to the firearm if it was recovered. And we have to assume that was not recovered at that crime scene. Obviously, it was recovered from a different location. But if the ballistics match that are at the crime scene, if in fact she was shot, they would do the search to match it up. So that's just to give you a little overview on how and or why that would be done.
Why are they doing a firearms trace summary?
We just answered that, Vinnie.
Was she shot? Is that possible?
Hi,
Is that
Sherilyn.
possible?
Yes, it's possible.
Twitch and on X. By the way, I'm reading this with you for the first time. I printed it out. I had some other work to do. Then I went live. So we're going through this together. All right. Yeah, you can watch it on Facebook also. We're streaming Facebook, YouTube. 2012 Honda Civic, 2010 taking place. That's obvious. We expected that, right? You're going to do a search of the home. So, they're going through the home. We knew that they had gone through the home as well. Okay.
So he talked about a search warrant at the home, at the residence, at the location. So we do not have cause and manner of death. We do not have cause and manner of death. Somebody says here, I thought the autopsy said suffocation. Nothing was released, as far as I know, officially. And you can be suffocated and shot as well. You could be shot after suffocation. So anything's possible here.
I'm wondering what this is. Search warrant, Discord Inc.
All right, Vinnie didn't know what Discord is, so they did a subpoena to check the Discord that I believe Madeline Soto was in, or that Stephan Stearns was using under the name of Madeline Soto. We don't know, but essentially, I'll read it out to you when we get to the documents, because we're almost done with showing what Vinnie was talking about.
Discord Inc.
So he didn't know what Discord is.
Discord Inc. do. The parent company of another one, but I don't know. Chat rooms. Discord, 150 monthly users. So it's big, but not enormous. I'll find out who she's talking to. So that's very possible.
So they subpoenaed social media, and we talked about this before, that they're going to go over all the electronic devices of Stephan Stearns, Madeline Soto, Jennifer Soto, the occupants of that home, and then they'll work into the family circle. They do they work from the inside out. So, who's the next? Maybe grandma, maybe whoever was in close contact with her, and maybe people that we don't even hear about, that they've subpoenaed their records. And if nothing came from those subpoenas that were criminal, that showed criminality, then they wouldn't go any further with that. But there's so much that won't be put into discovery, because if it doesn't pertain to Stephan Stearns, they're not gonna talk about it. All right, let's go to the documents, because I think everybody wants to see this. Remember, Stephan Stearns was into these electronic Epcot pins and all this different kind of stuff, weird kid stuff. And I felt like he either was into it as a way to open up the door to get into possibly victimizing another young child, or just a way for him to communicate with them. He was posting stuff on Reddit, and this comes from our good friend Oblivious Benson. She says the Tamagotchi electronic game, it's like a little game, and he was into all this creepy stuff. Yeah, exactly. Grooming, Sharon Reynolds says. You know, this guy was, is a demon. He's a devil. And there's many more like him walking around us. Evil walks amongst us, friends. Evil walks amongst us. So she has a video, Stephan Stearns, the digital trail. I'm going to take a look at that, but I want to go over this document because it is long. My God, it's long, this document. So let me just pull it up. It's 4 pages, but I'm only going to go into the first 3 pages. Just give me a second. All right. Hold on, folks. You know me, I'm challenged when it comes to technology. I'm challenged. Come on. My computer always got to give me a hard time. Why does it always got to give me a hard time? Let's look at this for a second. I downloaded it. It's got to be right here. Okay, I got it. Sorry, guys. All right, I want to make this so we could see it. So give me a second. All right, just let me know if you could see this. I'm going to stop sharing. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Stop screen. Video file. Share screen. All right, here we go. I think this is it. All right, we'll put a 1 in the chat if you can see this. I'll go full screen with it. Put a 1 in the chat. Thank you. Let's add a round of applause for Dutyron. Hold on a second. Let me give my own self. Let me call myself an asshole.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
Thank you, Dutyron. Thank you. Put a 1 in the chat if this is readable. I think it should be pretty good. So it's filed on May 7th. And because it was filed May 7th doesn't mean that it was released May 7th. But it's the circuit court in the 9th Judicial Circuit in Osceola County, Florida, state of Florida, versus Stephan Michael Stearns. And basically, it's the state's response to the defense for the demand for discovery. Thank you. And thank you to Linda Stewart for gifting 5 memberships. And thank you to anybody who has given super chats that I missed. I don't think anybody has. So, oh, wait, here, Positive Vibes. Thank you for being a member for 3 months. Thanks for all you do. Dutyron and Ed. And thank you for those gifted memberships, Linda. I appreciate you. And everyone who got the free membership, welcome. All right, so this is the defendant is demanding discovery, such and such, yada, yada, yada. The following pages, let me get this off. The following pages. Yeah, don't we all hate Stephan Stearns? I mean, how could you like this guy? If anybody likes this guy, you need to go check yourself into a mental institution, Mary. Not meaning you, but I'm saying, Mary, I thank you for that comment. But we all hate this guy. He's when you look up evil in the dictionary, a picture of him should show up. Stephan Stearns. He's a creepy pedo. He's a pedophile. I mean, I don't even want to tell you what I would like to see happen to this guy. So I won't even say it. So it starts with page 1. Everybody see this? It's a signature affidavit from Detective Sergeant Christopher Johnson, shield number 2910. Then a sworn statement by Audrey Hardy Dymek. These are all the investigators. Crime scene contamination log. Don't get confused and don't let anybody tell you that this is, oh, they contaminated the crime scene. It's just an official term for the crime scene log. A consent to search. Aubrey Hardy Dymek. He got the permission to search 5675 Hickory Tree Road. Does anybody know what 5765 Hickory Tree Road is? By a show of hands in the chat, can anybody say Osceola? Thank you, Ange. She sent $2 to get me to say it right. It's pronounced Osceola County. Thank you. And I have it written down. I have it written out just like that. And I still say it the wrong way. So, Osceola. Thank you. All right. I also pronounced the lascivious molestation wrong. And I have that pronounced, spelled out on a stickum note. Osceola. 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 Let's get back to this. Can you guys see it like this, or do you want it full screen? Can you see it okay like that? Is that okay? All right, let's get focused. Anna Bernadette says, I still have the pen I won and the badges I won when you did the other case a couple of years ago. Thank you. And thank you for being a member. Thanks for hanging in there. All right, so crime scene contamination log, incident report log. I'm assuming this is Osceola County Sheriff's Office. Detective Sergeant Christopher Johnson supplement. These are just all supplements and property forms. This is the name involvements, meaning who was involved in their investigation. You guys can see it. Oh, okay. People want it full screen. Okay. I'll give it to you full screen. I want to please. I'm here to please you. Property form, which includes the tire tread and the crime scene photos. These crime scene photos could be numerous crime scene photos. Pictures of the location, pictures of our victim, pictures of any evidence, pictures of surrounding trees, bushes, landscape. They do extensive drawing. I would imagine Faro 3D laser scanner was involved in scanning the crime scene, and so forth. All right, property forms, affidavits, and so forth. Oh, here's Faro mentioned right there. Faro. Is anybody catching on to? This is the first time going over this. There it is. A Faro 3D laser scanner was used. It's right there in the report, folks. Major case prints. Now, people would want to know major case prints. 5 major case prints. Okay. Major case is the major case squad that handles homicides. So the major case division went out and took prints at certain locations. I would imagine, obviously at the crime scene, obviously at the home, obviously inside his vehicle, and any place else that major case needs to try to collect prints. Debbie, hurry up. We're going to miss you while you're gone. So please hurry up back. Just kidding. Affidavits for the search warrant at 4012 Santa Maria Drive, Unit 107. Affidavit on page 28 through 36 for a search warrant for the Discord for Maddie. This is her Discord. Now, whether she was using it or if they had control of it, because remember, the mom, Jennifer Soto, said, we got into her phone and looked at some of her deleted messages. Remember, anybody in the chat remember Jennifer Soto saying that she left her phone home conveniently. She left her phone home on the day in question. Poor Maddie Soto left her phone home. We went through it and looked at any deleted messages or any messages. That tells me that they had some type of access to her phone because they knew how to open it up. They knew how to get into it. So by her own admission, she said, we looked through her phone. So now they have the Discord affidavit from a judge to check all of her Discord records. And they go straight to Discord, to the company, and they make them turn over the whole entire content of every interaction that Maddie, that screen name, Maddie, .maddie _. So they look and they will get everything forever for whatever she's ever sent on Discord. Yes, my life. I'm going to highlight these questions, these things as they come up. Congratulations, my life. You win one of the best comments of this live stream. And I'm sure there's been many other great ones that I missed. But my life, and thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. I wonder if she was texting a friend what was going on to her all along or at some time. Yes. Yes, my life. Yes. Amen. Affidavit search warrant for Google at sustine@gmail.com. And please don't go and start sending stuff to this Gmail account. I know somebody will do it, but please don't do it. Don't send anything there. They're probably still monitoring it. Faro is a 3D laser scan, P-Chick. It's a 3D laser scanner that can scan crime scenes. So it's Faro 3D laser scanner. Brenda, I was just thinking of you on Mother's Day. I hope you had a great Mother's Day. Brenda Redmond has been around for years and years and years, and I was thinking of you on Mother's Day. I hope you had a great Mother's Day this weekend. Don't ask me why. I just was thinking about you. I haven't seen you in a while, and I thought of you, and I said, oh, I wonder how Brenda's doing. So it's good that you're here. Thank you for joining. You're very welcome, Brenda. You and I have a long history dating back to our Sincere and Classic, Orrin and Orson West, and all of the screwed up effery that was going on there. But I love you for it. I love you for sticking around. Affidavit for the search warrant for the Lincoln MKZ. So they got an affidavit and a search warrant to give permission to search his Lincoln 2010 MKZ, the interior of that Lincoln. They did everything right here. They dotted their I's and crossed their T's. They dotted their I's and crossed their T's, and that's what good police do. This is what good police do. They did a fantastic job from what I'm seeing here. The pen register for affidavit for Instagram Little Figment. So that account on Instagram has been subpoenaed, and they got an affidavit through a judge, page 52 to 56 in the command log, a pen register for Instagram Figment. That will give them all of the history of that account from the beginning to the end. Jolene Marie, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a moderator. Thank you for running our Facebook groups. She says, I truly feel mom knew that's why she knew all that info. This is one of the sickest cases. Poor Maddie, I pray she told someone, and I think that she did. I think that she did. I hope to God that she did. But the evidence that they have on Stephan Stearns, just based on his own sick recordings and pictures, and God only knows what he had of this poor victim, those photos and videos alone are enough to put him and bury him under the jail for the rest of his life. And I don't mean really burying him under the jail, but you guys know what I mean. Those charges alone on that possession of that material puts him away for the rest of his life. These are just county sheriff's reports, page 68. You guys seeing what's happening here? We started out with page 1. We're on page 165. These are the Orange County Sheriff's Office reports. Remember, this case originated in Orange County. He was in the Orange County jail. So this is the Orange County Sheriff's Office reports, page 68 to 165. That's a lot of reports right there. Yes, the autopsy will not be released because she's a minor. That's correct, Susan. Okay, detectives, and they list all the detectives. It's 21. I was wrong. I don't know why I had 22. Maybe there's another detective somewhere written in that was not in this list. I don't know why I was stuck on 22, but let's just get past it. Page 168 to 166, excuse me, to 170. Application for T-Mobile tracking device. This is a T-Mobile, probably a 5G cellular Wi-Fi tracking device that they placed in the Honda Civic 2012. Okay. Michael Joseph Murray, thank you for always being here, always sharing. I know that I can go to my Facebook group and know that Michael Joseph Murray shared this video in my YouTube video share group, because I only did it to the police and crime chat group. But I know Michael Joseph Murray, my good friend, been around since Periscope days in 2016. He is sharing. And thank you for being a member, my brother from another mother. I appreciate it. All right. Applications for all of these vehicles. The Lincoln, the Nissan, they put this in the vehicles to find out where they were going, where they traveled, what they were up to. And they got the judge's permission to do this. They didn't just do it sneaky. Jennifer, good to see you. Jen, no, I have a hard time saying that. I'm always going to say your name, but I know you changed it. So Jen, no, good to see you. I love you. Thank you for being here. Something happened to her at or after her party. Even the grandmother was off to me. I believe rather be in Maui. I believe that statement. Baby got back. Little in the middle, but you got much back. He should be in general population accidentally, of course. Yeah. Soldier girl, hi. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Mel, thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your wonderfully written poems. I'm going to read them one day with your permission on the air. You let me know if that's okay. All right, so affidavits for search warrants at 4012 Santa Maria Drive, ×2. They did it 2 different times. I don't believe that they would redundantly just put it. So they got a search warrant at one particular time, and then they went back again. As we always see police going back and doing search warrant hits at same locations over again, they have to continue to get new search warrants when they got to go back again. Orange, maybe this is Osceola Sheriff's Office crime scene report at Fort Soto. Or FT Soto in a badge number. I don't think that's Fort Soto. It's FT Soto. I don't know what the FT stands for. Field training? No. Field technician Soto? I don't know. Beckfest, always great to see you. Member for 13, over a year. Thank you for going over this. Such a tragic case. Beckfest, I agree wholeheartedly. This breaks my heart. Anytime you see a child abused like this, physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, it's a hard pill to swallow. Our vulnerable need us the most. Our elderly, our children, our mentally handicapped. They need us more than anybody needs us. And she was let down by many, by so many. All right. The KIPD, and I don't know, I don't want to just guess at this, but this is another agency. KIPD, if anybody down in Florida that knows the acronym for this police department, an electronic incident report transmittal form. And that could be just an electronic incident report that was transmitted from one agency to another, and so forth. Reporting officer narrative and a case supplemental. I've done hundreds, arguably thousands of case supplementals in my time. Here's what Vinnie was talking about, firearms trace summary. So, okay, thank you, Kissimmee Police Department. Thank you, Lee. Thank you. I don't know why, it just slipped my mind. Lee M., thank you. And thank you for whoever else put that in there. Laura Gillespie, I see a ton of people putting it. Thank you, Holly. Thank you. I got it. Love you guys. This is why we're a family. We're a true crime family, because when I ask for something, you guys deliver. Lovely lyrics. That is a lovely comment, and I appreciate it. I am honored and humbled. Thank you. All right, guys, if you can, hit the thumbs up. That's always appreciated. And share it onto your social media platforms. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. All right, so this firearm trace summary. It says plural, folks. It doesn't say firearm. It says firearms, plural, with an S. And this means that it's more than one firearm. So they could have, thank you, Danielle. That means that they could have a firearm at a certain location or recovered multiple firearms. As we saw with Rex Heuermann, they took 170 long guns out of his house when they did a search warrant of his house. They were looking for anything and everything. They didn't expect to come across a cache of weapons, but the Long Island serial killer, the Gilgo Beach killer, Rex Heuermann, they took multiple firearms. So they're doing a trace summary, meaning they're going to look at the history of these firearms, plural, more than one. Orange County Sheriff's property forms, Orange County Sheriff evidence property reports, and more property forms. Application on page 222 to 224 for a mobile tracking device for the Honda Civic. Order authorizing installation and use of said device on a Honda Civic. Application, and this just goes redundantly for all three of the vehicles. So they got permission to obtain the devices from T-Mobile. And now, as you see here, they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's and getting an application and approval to sneakily, in the middle of the night or whenever, go and install these mobile tracking devices on all three of those cars. Tina King likes that Dutyron's on fire. If you like that I'm on fire, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't like this, I don't really usually, listen, it's almost 10 o'clock. Oh, it is 10 o'clock. Holy shiitake mushrooms. It's 10 o'clock. I'm not usually this fired up, but this, I'm so happy that they have this information. I'm so happy that a collaborative effort from the Orange County Sheriffs to Osceola to Kissimmee Police, the Kissimmee Police Department, Chief Betty Holland and her crew. I'm just happy for justice for Maddie, for our victim. And when I see stuff like this, it makes me proud to be a retired police detective. It makes me proud to be an American. It makes me proud to be now a civilian, just like everybody else here that is not active law enforcement, because I'm just like you. I just did the job and now I'm retired. But when I see stuff like this, I'm very happy because our victim has a high chance of getting justice. Let's take a look at the rest because there's a lot more. Affirmation of warrant exigency. So this is an affirmation of the warrant. An affidavit for a search warrant. That's the application for said locations ×2. A search warrant at that same location. And then as we talk about, once you execute a search warrant on page 241, when you execute it on the very next page, you do an inventory and a receipt. That is the inventory of all the recovery that was made from said search warrant at 4012 Santa Maria Drive, Unit 107. They do a full inventory of everything that they took into custody. Here's your affidavit for search warrant of Discord Inc. And then the actual search warrant for the Discord. The application, then the actual paper warrant that they would show cause to execute the search warrant. Search warrant inventory of said Discord warrant. And then the firearm trace summary. These are all the evidence that they requested and that they did and executed, and then everything that discloses what they found. This is a non-disclosure order, standard stuff. Here's an affidavit to search Google. That means they searched Stephan Stern's Google searches. Everything this monster searched for on Google. And if this ever gets let out, like in other words, if this becomes public, you probably don't want to hear what he is searching for. I'm going to say, I'll definitely read it to myself. It will hurt me inside, but I can handle it. But this Google search warrant is going to be devastating to read. I mean, I know there's a lot of people here with me on this. This even hurts seasoned law enforcement like us. Seasoned officers like us. We take a deep breath when we look at the results of this, because it involves a young, arguably this horrific behavior started when she was 8 years old. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you for listening and driving. I appreciate it. Guys, please subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because once we pass that 300,000 mark, I'm going to do a huge giveaway on a live stream, and you're not going to want to miss it, because we're going to be giving away money and items. And it's going to be like, I think I'll spend an hour giving away free things to people. That's how excited I am about hitting that milestone of 300,000. And I think we're close. We were this close before I went live. So hopefully in the next day or so, we'll be there. But yeah, this stuff is maddening. This stuff is maddening. This is, you can't believe that people are capable of this kind of craziness. So yeah, I know Joshua is going to be proud when we hit that 300,000 mark. Okay, somebody's saying that we hit it. Was that Jennifer Nobles? Huh. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to check. I'm going to go check. All right, so then that's great stuff. We got congratulations. Okay. Let's get back to it. Thank you guys. So I couldn't have done this without you. Ed Wallace and myself, we couldn't have done this without you guys. So thank you all for being here and for subscribing, being a part of the community. This is a learning community. Kayla, thank you for the $20 super chat. She says you hit 300,000. Congratulations. Thank you. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this guy right here, Joey Brooklyn. So thank you, Joey. All right, let's get back to this. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. So affidavit for search warrant for Google. The Google searches are going to be horrific. Horrific. And then this is the affidavit, the application for the search warrant. That's why they tell the judge why they want to search. And then this search warrant, the actual paper to search for Google. And then a non-disclosure order and then an affidavit to search the Lincoln MKZ, and then the search warrant, and then the inventory of said search warrant of that Lincoln MKZ. So all these 3 lines in a row are all applying to the MKZ. An application on page 276 requesting installation and use of a pen registry and a trap and a trace device and the disclosure of stored electronic communications and transactional records. This is an application for the cell phones to trace and listen to the incoming and outgoing communication of said devices. Advanced, sophisticated, but needed to find out what these people were up to. Order authorizing installation of a pen registration and a trap and trace device, and the disclosure of stored electronic communicational and transactional records. Warrant targeted devices, accounts, telephone numbers, and so forth. So the next line tells you all the phone numbers. They said Jennifer Soto and Stephan Stearns. They wanted to know what they were talking about after they reported their daughter missing, and at some particular time. There's no times here, but I'd have to imagine that this was when the case started moving forward, probably shortly or the day they discovered Maddie's remains. Application for a warrant of the targeted devices and telephone numbers, application for warrant, and it lists the phone numbers here. This is public record. I'm not even going to blur them out. Don't call the numbers because I recommend you do that. Don't call these numbers. Don't try to make phony phone calls to them. You might become part of an investigation. I wouldn't recommend it. Good people will not call these numbers. Bad people may call those numbers. So be the good person, please. So that's listed. It's in public record. Search warrant for Charter Communications, an application for an order and a warrant for Charter Communications. Another said cell phone, a lot of different cell phone numbers, guys. 1, 2, 3 different, 4 different cell phone numbers. Application and affidavit for search warrant for Stearns. Search warrant for Stearns, the return. Madeline Soto. This is a warrant for her behavioral health and psychiatric counseling. If it's obvious that she was seeking and receiving. So, yeah, it could be the pedo burner phones. Listen, like I said, folks, just know this is public information. I don't need to blur it out because anybody can go and look at it. I'm just saying, Crime Time with Dutyron community, we're not jagaloons, right? In God we trust, all else we polygraph. We're not jagaloons. We're not jagaloons. We're not going to call those numbers. But some people will. Okay. Madeline Soto, doctor, listed behavioral health, doctor, same thing, Orlando Psychiatric Associates. The medical examiner's report. The electronic, the Kissimmee Police Department electronic report transmittal. April, thank you for becoming a member. Case supplemental report, Mr. M. Morris. Another electronic report, a report, officer narrative from Officer Clark, a bunch of supplementals, and it just keeps going on and on. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything important. Emergency report warrant, cover sheet. These are all the warrants that they applied for. Emergency report warrant request, cover sheet, incident reports, and it just goes on and on and on. So you could see this is the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They were involved as well. These are the lab reports that they did on all of the lab and the lab work. I mean, we're on page 500 here. These pages, look, 538 to 541. Florida Department of Law Enforcement lab report. Orange County Sheriff's evidence and property report. Cell phone mapping. So they're doing cell phone mapping and tracking. Declaration of business records from Capital One. That's probably Stephan Stearns or Jennifer Soto's business records. Capital One. Remember she said her mom did she say her mom had a business that was close by that she thought Maddie would maybe go to? Right? Am I off on that? Am I going nuts, guys? Didn't Jennifer Soto say that maybe Maddie went to her mom's place of business that was close by? Darlene Wolf says yes. Yeah, she said office was close by and that she had went there. Okay, so they subpoenaed maybe her records, Capital One. Orange County Sheriff's Office supplemental reports. Affidavit for search warrant of digital devices on page 1002 to 1005. So these are pages in the command logs. Search warrant inventory receipt. When this is all released, it's going to be hours and hours and hours worth of info. They asked for 1 terabyte to be provided, a 1 terabyte hard drive by the defense so they can upload this information. They asked them for 1 terabyte, which folks can hold 200 to 300 full-length feature films, 250 to 300 full-length feature films on a terabyte, and over 250 to 300,000 photos. That's what they asked the defense to provide the state with to put all of the evidence into. And here is the following media has been sent by mail on May 6th. Digital media number 2, a DVD, which is consisting of medical examiners' photos. Digital media number 3, Orange County forensic photos. Digital media 4, a DVD, Orange County forensic photos. The following media is available for copy. And here in yellow, it says, please provide 1 terabyte hard drive for a copy to be created and provided to your office. This is for the defense. The following media is available for copy. They want one digital media number 1, 1 terabyte hard drive. The following information media is only available to view by appointment at the State Attorney General's office. Digital media containing defendant's cell phone downloaded information. That, ladies and gentlemen, means the disgusting filth that Stephan Stearns took of Madeline Soto, the videos and pictures of her. That's what that means. The following media is only available to view by appointment at the State Attorney General's office. The defendant, Stephan Stearns, cell phone downloaded. Search warrant return of defendant's Google account. You see these two things, and this is what I said was going to be horrific. These two items right here, the defendant's cell phone download and the search warrant return, that they're meaning the search warrant results of his Google account, is so horrific that you can't make it publicly available. You have to come there to see it. And the defense can't take any pictures with them. They can only look at it there. They're not allowed to take it. Blue Sky says, arrest Jennifer immediately. You can't just go and arrest her. You need evidence. They have a good case against Stephan Stearns. That's for sure. But this is what I'm talking about. When this information is horrifying. Viewed by appointment only, Schmitty. Yes. Because it's not going to be electronically transmitted anywhere. They won't allow it. They don't want this to be leaked out. The state is paying for his defense. He's got a public defender, Moyora Mahler. I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. The state is providing this. This evidence is to be viewed by appointment only at the office of the state attorney, as it contains CSAM. This is Andrew Asher Bain, signed, sealed, and delivered. It gives me anxiety to even talk about that, but we have to talk about it. So let me go over these super chats and say thank you to Positive Vibes and Linda for earlier gifting 5 memberships. Ange, thank you for the pronunciation. Malagator, I'm sorry, member from Poor Months, thank you. He's a monster, I agree. Michael Joseph, thank you. Beckfest, thank you for being here. Kitty KU, please say he won't get to see those photos. No, he's not allowed to see them. His defense is able to view them at that location, but Stephan Stearns is not going to get to view those photos. He knows what they are. He was searching and looking at them. He created some of that. That's on his phone, obviously. It was like 400 pictures and videos of our victim. Over 400 pictures and videos of our victim. Sickening. Kayla, thank you for the super chat. She said you hit 300. It says it. Congratulations. Thank you, Kayla. Aunt BB2, thank you for being a member for over 20 months. You already passed it. Thank you. Sassy Pants, thank you for being here. $20. Thank you, Dutyron, for always sharing your experience and expertise. It helps to understand how and why some of these things can happen and what the men and women like yourself do to prevent and or to find justice for the victims. We work for the victims. We work for the victims. Public servants are here to protect and serve, but we work for the victims who no longer have a voice. Thank you for that. Deborah Guzman, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. That's very generous and kind of you. Thank you. April, thank you for becoming a member. Miss Wolf, thank you for the $2 super chat. Congratulations on 300,000. Well deserved. I couldn't have done this without you guys. So thank you to all of you. Mary Beth Mooney, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, law enforcement. Thank you for thanking us. Thank you. Sharon, good to see you. Happy birthday, belated. Thank you for becoming a member, Sharon, from Periscope. She plays a mean piano. She does. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do when they come for you? Pamela, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. And Sharon Coveney, $4.99, $5 super sticker. Thank you for that. Let me just play something real quick for you guys, because I know there's a lot of different people who come in and out of these streams, and I want to play just one last thing before we wrap it up. It's Fox 35, and basically they go over some of the clues in this case, and I want to play it for you. I played it in the beginning. I'll play it again. Give me a second. I gotta share the screen quickly with you guys. Let's start it over.
The death of 13-year-old Maddie Soto. We're getting to the death of 13-year-old Maddie Soto. We're getting a better idea of what the trial could look like for the man accused of killing her.
Yeah, a new list of evidence has been made public. And Fox 35's Marie Edinger has been sifting through this list all day long, and she joins us live right now. So, Marie, what are you finding in there?
John, that new list just released by the state gives us a better view of what might actually come out in this trial. And as this memorial for Madeline Soto grows, so does the anticipation to find out what exactly happened to this little girl. This is a list of the items the state plans to use in the trial. We're talking a terabyte hard drive to copy just some of the discovery over. That's enough space to store 500 hours of HD video or over 6 million pages of documents. The list includes references to guns like firearms trace summaries, even though we still don't know whether a gun was used in this case or how ultimately Maddie died. Forensic expert Stacey Shepard says the list tells a story.
You have your crime scene, actual on-scene activity, and then your major case investigation steps, and then you can see it progressing as they're getting warrants and asking for certain things.
The list includes reports by 21 different investigators. It references mobile tracking devices on 3 different cars. There's a section about pen registers. Those are devices that record the numbers of phone dials out, and trap and trace devices, which record incoming phone numbers. There are also search warrants and cell phone mapping for 3 different phones. Fox 35 was able to confirm one is Stephan Stern's phone, and another is the phone for Jen Soto, Maddie's mother.
Typically when there's that.
Who do you think the third phone is? Put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. We know Stephan Stern's is definitely one of them. And I would tell you, I would bet my pension once again on Jennifer Soto. Who's the third phone that they have incoming and outgoing on? And I would have to say grandma. I would bet my bottom dollar. Debbie Carroll, thanks for coming back. I would bet my pension that it's the grandmother. But the question at hand is why is there no other arrests? Does it mean that they do not have any evidence that they were involved or had knowledge what was going on? Or does it mean that they just don't have enough as of yet to make an arrest? Maybe they have something, but they don't have enough. And if they have something, they can't just jump ahead and potentially ruin that case against her mom, if in fact there is one. A lot of people think a lot of things. So Hunter saying possibly Maddie's phone. You know what? Huntley Walker, that you could be right. You could be right. It could be hers. And you know what? I just thought of the grandmother because of how she was acting. But this makes sense to me that that third phone would be Madeline's. And the news were able to confirm Stephan Stern's and Jennifer Soto's because they communicated with her. So Huntley, you get the second best comment of the stream, and I've never seen you in a live stream. If you've been in a live stream, it's been under a different name, but that you win the second best comment of this live stream. You get a honorary detective's badge by me. Hold on, where is it? Boom. You win. You win a badge. Boom. It probably is Maddie's cell phone. And they can't release that because she's a minor. So I bet you that cell phone would be for her. Little Patty comes in with a question. Dutyron, would the Google warrant include what he uploaded to his cloud? Yes. Everything involved with Google. Anything and everything that's in a Google account, including if he had a YouTube channel, like me, my Google and YouTube is one and the same. So it's everything. My Google Drive, my Google account. And if my Google ever got subpoenaed, there would be so many cases on there that I saved to my Google Drive. It's not even funny. I have people would be like, "Are you sure you're retired, Dutyron? Why do you have so many cases in your Google Drive?" My Google Drive would be interesting.
Much evidence against somebody in this kind of case, they're gonna most likely take a plea.
The state could use this information to seek the death penalty.
We're still in talks about it. Still discussions amongst myself and our homicide team and our executive team, seeing what aggravators, if any, we have that we can go on.
Janet, thanks for the super chat.
Stearns has pre-trial conferences for both of these trials coming up on July 10th, and then the actual start date for the murder trial for Maddie Soto begins July 16th. He also has a separate trial that'll start up on August 19th. That is for...
So look at that. Pre-trial hearing July 10th. Murder trial tentatively starts July 16th. There will be no plea. He's not taking a plea. He's not going to be offered a plea. You have to be offered a plea to be able to take it, and the state of Florida is not offering him a plea. The jury will, you know what, Rach? That's a good question. I believe the jury has to see that information, and there may be a modified way to share that with them. We'll have to see as that develops, and I'm going to ask my good friend Joe Murray, who's a criminal defense attorney. I'm going to ask him about that because that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. But pre-trial, July 10th for Stephan Stearns. Murder trial, tentatively, July 16th. These are very tentative dates, I would imagine. Child sex abuse trial, August 19th. I mean, you would anticipate that they're only given a month between start of murder trial and then the 19th, just 3 days over a month for these are kind of, I'm not sure if these will go, but it should go sooner than later. Florida doesn't mess around. Florida is a oh hell no state.
Oh hell no.
They don't mess around. So
Case involving sexual battery against a minor, as well as various child porn charges. He has 60 counts against him in that one.
So that's right outside the crime scene where Madeline Soto's body was recovered. And you could still see there's a beautiful memorial of teddy bears, Mickey Mouse, and all different various stuffed animals and flowers in the background. It's a beautiful remembrance of her, and it's still there. This report was from yesterday, so pretty interesting that it's 82 degrees too there in Florida. Well, yesterday. All right, let me look at the chat for some questions. Hashtag Dutyron for your questions, and we'll wrap it up. Yeah, Florida is the gold standard, Joey Brooklyn. If you guys aren't subscribed to Joey Brooklyn, go check out his channel. Look at him. He's a handsome fella, and he's from Brooklyn, and he gives you all kinds of goodness. If you're into learning about all things as it pertains to New York City, Joey Brooklyn's your guy. Angel says, Dutyron, they wouldn't need a warrant to track Maddie's phone. It has to be grandma's. Actually, if you're going to do it the right way and do it legally, you still have to go to a judge to get a warrant to look into that phone because it's part of an investigation. And you're going to submit that, Angel, into court to use it against Stephan Stearns. Therefore, you would need to get a warrant to extract information from Madeline Soto's cell phone. So, although I appreciate this question, you're 100% wrong. They would need a search warrant to do it legally and to present it in a court of law. Thank you for that question, though. Hashtag Dutyron for questions. Vinnie is the bomb. And I loved what he did today because he kind of like jump started me to want to do this. So I'm going to put him back up on the screen for a second. Vinnie, yo, hey, Vinnie. So here he is from today.
150 monthly users. So it's big, but not enormous. It's primarily used by gamers. registration and trap and trace device and disclosure of stored electronic communications and transactional records. They got an order authorizing it.
So Vinny's going over the same thing that I went over with you guys. Mother Toast, yeah, she may be the owner of the phone, but to legally use the content on that phone or anything that's on that phone, to legally use it in a court of law, you have to go the legal route. You can't just say, oh, mom gave me permission. She signed permission. Because what if she has buyer's remorse and says, I didn't give permission? You know what I mean? What if that happens? So, you still have to get a subpoena to go through that phone and extract the records.
Okay. It looks like.
Thank you, Alma.
A couple other things going on here.
LA
more
says,
digital evidence that they're looking for, and you've got to get these warrants. You get them as quickly as possible to get.
Vinny's the
because
bomb.
remember, it began as a missing person, so everything is sort of, and a lot of these things are exigent. Emergency applications that are being done, and most of those are usually if someone is missing. Right, someone is missing. It's exigent. Your Honor, we need this right away because we've got a missing child. We want to take a look at X, Y, and Z, and we're going to need a warrant to do it because many of these companies will not voluntarily give it to police. They require some form of a warrant.
Cynthia says, I think Jen is buying time to keep from being arrested by going to the psych ward. I mean, that, we saw Lori Shallow Vallow do the same thing, right? She was in custody and she said that she was not. She made her defense attorney believe that she couldn't comprehend what was going on, and she played that stupid game. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So she got sent to the funny farm, and she probably was not too happy in that predicament that she was in once she realized where she was going. And that doesn't always work out well. So,
warrant signed by a judge to provide this information, even if you're looking for a missing child. They have certain standards. So I think that's what's going on here. With Madeline Soto, she apparently, from this, was under some care regarding behavioral health and psychiatric associates. So she was getting some help.
I agree,
so
Karen.
I guess they attempted to get some information there as well.
Yeah, everybody subscribe to Vinny.
So whatever
information
subscribed. They got from a treating physician for Maddie.
So
what is this treating physician?
I want to address this because people keep saying in this picture she looks pregnant. I mean, I don't think so. She's kind of standing with her hands on her hips, and maybe just the way that photo came off. I think that if she was in fact pregnant, I'm not sure it would be released right now, but if you're asking me my professional opinion, and hey, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, right? I don't think she's pregnant. I don't think she was. I think that she was ready to come out and tell people that she's mad as hell and not going to take it anymore. And she was sick of being abused and sexually abused and tortured by this monster. And she said, on my 13th birthday, I'm going to let everybody know I'm sick of it. And as we know from Micah Miller, some of the most dangerous times is when you are going to try to get away from the person who has command and control over you, whether it's a married couple, a young girl like this. When you are telling your predator, the person who's got the command and control over you, that you're not going to take it anymore and you're going to fight back, or you're going to tell somebody, that's sometimes something that makes them snap, and it's the most dangerous. And I believe that that's what happened, but I don't think that this Madeline was pregnant here. I think that it was the way she was standing, and she was kind of like sticking her stomach or her midsection out. And it's just the stance that she took in this photo on her birthday celebration. But that's just my opinion.
I'm going to give up what sort of information. The ME report is referenced here, and
I agree,
it
Angel.
is
I agree.
42 pages. 42 pages. Don't expect to see those.
42-page medical examiner's report is going to be in-depth and detailed. That's medical examiner autopsy reports are varied in length, and it depends on how it's put out and formatted. But 42 pages is not something outrageously long, but it is an extensive and detailed autopsy, and it's part of this release.
Or hear
But
about
it won't come out to the public, but the defense will have access to that.
that until something happens in court. Okay, what else do we have
Dawn
here?
Marie, I mean, listen, this is the internet. How do you even speculate about a kid like that? I just addressed it because I saw too many comments and questions about it over the course of time, and not just here in the chat. But I just felt it's necessary to talk about this because, who are we to say that she's pregnant? I mean, even if I thought that, I personally wouldn't say it. Like, I would just keep that to myself. But a lot of people feel that it's necessary to talk about it. But I don't see it. I don't see it here. And I don't think it's necessary to even bring it up. But, of course, I had to, address it because so many people are putting it in the comments, putting it in the chat, sending me emails about it. Schmitty's, drive safe. Good night, and thank you for being here. I love you, and thank you. Sharon says 42 pages. That's standard. They go on. It's a very detailed report, and it goes on to list things, medical terms, and medical. It's not. We'll have Ed Wallace talk about it, but yeah, a regular person would be like, "Oh, wow," But hey, ATS News, good to see you. Thanks for joining.
KIPD electronic report transmittal form. Is that the Kissimmee Police Department?
Yes, I found out through the
All
chat.
right. There's a bunch of information like the arrest warrant.
Thank you,
Again,
Bev.
arrest warrant has affidavits associated with it. That's where you're going to get the information. That information is not in what's been made public yet.
I agree, Diane.
I'm looking for things. Again, another firearms trace summary. It's just a one pager. They're all one
Thank
pagers.
you, Elva. Yeah, one page for each
Let's
weapon. It says
see.
firearms, plural. It says firearms with an S.
This is interesting. Cell phone mapping. So they picked out 3 cell phone numbers and some cell phone mapping, and this is very involved. It's it looks like it's more than 400 pages of cell phone mapping. So this is huge, right?
Cell phone
mapping.
Because what's huge about it, Vinny, and for everybody watching, is what's huge about this is that the cell phone mapping and the cell phone data, the electronic evidence, is going to tell us where Stephan Stearns was, where Jennifer Soto was, where Madeline Soto, our victim, her phone was conveniently left at home, and that was done on purpose. But we want what Stephan Stearns was doing. We want his movements, so the prosecutor can put him in all these different places and show for the jury that yes, we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Stephan Stearns did in fact commit these heinous crimes and did commit murder of Madeline Soto. And this electronic evidence is the bow that seals it up, signed, sealed, and delivered. When you have the electronic forensics and the actual physical evidence, it's hard to defend that. It's hard to defend it. Vicky, thank you for gifting a membership. That is very kind, and thank you for that. And Bev, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody for being here.
Incredibly important investigatory source and resource.
Don't get me going, Cammie.
A big part of this investigation. me see what else. Now there's some media, some digital media that they could come down has been also sent. Medical examiner photos, you're not going to see those. Orange County forensic photos.
Could be, Kim.
I suspect you would see those. Orange County forensic photos again. A 1 TB hard drive.
Donna, I felt like early on that she definitely was, and it doesn't matter along, like time goes by, right? We there's a quiet period here, but she could be arrested at any time. Could be tomorrow. Could be 10 days from now. Could be 5 months from now. Whenever they have enough probable cause to effect a lawful arrest, they'll make it. So only time will tell, Donna. But I don't think that the mom didn't know certain things that were going on. Was she in on it, on the murder? I don't know. I don't know. These guys, the investigators will find out. They'll be able to uncover it through their investigation. So we got to give them time. You're welcome, Donna. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Now,
you.
this is what I've been saying all along, right? The state attorney's office. The following media is available to view by appointment at the state attorney's office. Digital media containing the defendant's cell phone download and the search warrant return of defendant's Google account.
Yes, the Google.
The evidence is to be viewed by appointment only at the office of the state attorney, as it contains you know what it contains. Images that you cannot transmit, images that you cannot copy, images that are illegal to possess, obviously illegal to take, all of these images involving a child. So like I've been saying from the beginning, when you have that type of material.
So we went over all of it. I just wanted to just plug Vinnie a little bit more. I'm going to link his channel in the description. Give me about 20 minutes to do that. I want to thank you guys all for hanging out here with me for almost 2 hours. And I didn't realize that we were into almost 2 hours here. But that's how long it took to go through all of this stuff and to have open communication with my live chatters. And, you guys are what's most important to me. Our live community is the heartbeat of this channel, Crime Time with Dutyron and Ed Wallace. So I want to take a moment to give extreme thanks and praise to you, my live viewers, my replay viewers, the folks who leave comments, the people who go the extra step to buy us cups of coffee and keep us caffeinated on the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee app, the Patreon people who go the extra step, the subscribers who subscribing is free and watching our videos is free, letting the ads play and maybe clicking off them after they get annoying. I love everyone here that contributes, whether it's by, digging into your pocket or digging into your wallet and contributing, or just by contributing by being here and being a part of this community. Because without your engagement, we have nothing. So I, as the creator of this channel, and Ed, we know and acknowledge how important you guys are. Because if you decide to not tune in, what do we got? We got ungats. We got nothing. So I acknowledge you and I thank you all for being here. Whether you have a kind comment or maybe a not so kind comment, it is what it is. I'm never, ever going to be able to make everybody happy. And that goes for everybody here in all walks of life, and everything that we do in our everyday communications, our work, our family life, our YouTube life, our online presence will never make everybody happy, and will never make everybody like us. But the people who do take that extra step and do hang around here and like us and love us, we love you back. And I thank you for it. So, again, we're not perfect. We're not perfect people. Anybody that purports to be perfect is full of shit. So I want to thank you all for being here, and the moderators who help keep it pretty classy in this chat. Very classy. Our moderators are second to none. Joey Brooklyn, Black Rose 11, Dawn Marie, and all of the ones who hang out here with us. Appreciate you, channel members. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you all. So on behalf of Crime Time with Dutyron and Ed Wallace, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to send prayers, strength, and positive vibes to our victim, Madeline Soto. And again, I have Vinnie's thing up here, and there's a picture of her on there. This is who it's about, the victim right here, Maddie Soto. Let's get her justice. Let's send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to this prosecutor, to the detectives, to all the people who are working hard on this case to bring justice and get Stephan Stearns convicted of these heinous crimes that he committed. That's what we're here for. We're here for justice for the victims. We work for the victims and their families. Thank you all on behalf of Crime Time with Dutyron and Ed Wallace. Good night from New York City. Peace and love. Stand by for a message from our cop team.